I would like to invite Dean Sidani to give the welcome on behalf of OSB welcome.
Thank you, Lama. There are many people to thank on this occasion. First, our dear guests and speakers, but let me welcome you all, our MPs, my colleagues, the deans at AUB, the deans at other schools, my colleagues at the Suliman Olayan Schools of Business, led by Dr. Lama Musa. We have put their heart into making this event a reality. Students, faculty, and staff. As Lama has said, we have over 90 students, close to 100 students volunteering to work on this. AUB President Dr. Fadlu Khouri was the main driver for this event. Provost Zahar Dawi made sure we had all the support, the Data Science, AI, and Computing Hub, AUB Online and iPark, the Faculty of Medicine and School of Nursing, the Maroon Seman Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, the Faculty of Health Sciences, the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences, and the amazing teams at those schools. This is a university effort. The Office of Student Affairs, the Advancement Office, of course, AUB Communication Team, Protection Office, and many, many other units. But beyond the gratitude to our sponsors and community partners, such an event in those unusual times deserves some reflection. This event was about to be canceled a few months ago. An early discussion with Dr. Lama was clouded with what's happening around us, a conflict and an unprecedented humanitarian crisis. What would we venture into talking about women in data science when, according to UN Women, few hundred kilometers away, more than 10,000 women have been killed, more than 19,000 have been injured, 37 mothers are killed every day. Our desire to advance the case of women in data science seems so peripheral and so insignificant compared to the suffering and pain of women around us. But we decided to go forward. Looking at the passion and determination of people in attendance today, I'm glad we did. This is a sign of us standing steadfast while facing calamity, hate, and brutality. It is a sign that we are here to stay. We have been rooted in this land for thousands of years. When we leave, our children and grandchildren will carry the message of hope forward. Over the course of history, we have seen scores of indigenous people being wiped out or get uprooted from their communities. But we refuse to be just another community erased and forgotten. In this region, we come from different ethnicities, religions, and races, but we've always been part of this land. With all dear love, respect, sympathy, and admiration, we refuse to become the first people, the First Nations, the indigenous or aboriginals of this region. In other parts of the world, these people's numbers have dwindled, their impact vanished, and their future always uncertain. Those are the people whom the world apologizes to, but does that way too late. Where life goes on, and the spoken or unspoken word is that they must accept their fate, consent to their subjugation, and just move on. What is the role of data in all of that? For one thing, data is the cornerstone of every decision that we make, whether good or bad. Data makes us secure or afraid, frustrated or relieved, satisfied or enraged. Data sometimes guides people into making lifetime decisions about their own well-being or the well-being of others. It drives people to make decisions, to help or to obstruct, sometimes even make decisions as whether to be humane or choose to get immersed in humanity. Data can be used, abused, or manipulated. It can be employed by sick minds to make sick decisions, leading them into cruelty and psychopathy, not seeing other people as human beings, controlling them, brutalizing them, without any feeling of guilt, remorse, or shame. Companies working in the data field have done so many good things for the world. With advancement in technology and data science, we have been able to better connect and achieve great milestones in education, in health, and economic advancement. Still, the capacity of doing harm has always been manifest by corporate actions over the past few years. It has become even more salient over the past few months. Many of us have heard how some companies have disproportionately censored some information, obstructed the exchange of critical data that limited the ability of the world to understand what's happening. Under the guise of not evoking more violence, they shut the voices of people whose voices need to be heard. We read reports about how companies developed systems to track data and monitor groups of people, whether they were associated with ongoing conflicts or not. Those systems are able to track possible suspects, collect and analyze data about them, and identify them as potentially legitimate targets. We read in those reports that all of this is, quote, based on potentially relevant information that is typically unrelated to the location or individual in question, by looking for similarities and patterns. Such data and data analytics are used to make decisions about whether to liquidate a suspect or spare their lives. We are told that such systems use, quote, the logic of probabilities, where an algorithm looks through large data sets for patterns that correspond to certain types of behavior. And the amount of quality of the data determines how successful the algorithm is in finding these patterns. It then recommends targets based on probabilities, end quote. Probabilities? Seriously? How did we end up in a world where all the data protection guarantees and privacies are broken, all ethical boundaries are crossed, and all acts of humanity are shattered? Alarmingly, when employees of these companies object, they face disciplinary measures, sometimes even finding themselves without a job to go do the following day. In my field of leadership, scholars note how women tend, on average, to be irrespective if these differences are large or small. They tend to be more humane, more transformational, more empathetic, and more capable of making decisions that take people into proper consideration. Cassandra Frangos notes how studies show that female CEOs illustrated greater empathy, adaptability, and diversity more frequently than their male peers. Words like empathy, intuition, compromise, and compassion may have been viewed as soft in previous decades, but now are viewed as increasingly necessary in the workplace, perhaps even a strategic imperative, end quote. Can we agree on the notion that our objective is not only to just increase the number and quantity of women in data-related jobs, but also to improve the quality of their decisions? Can we agree that we need to move data science into a new paradigm of leadership, where data is used for the good, not for the bad, for the betterment of humanity and people, not their demise, where data management and data analytics are used to advance the well-being of all, both men and women, their health, their education, and their prosperity? To all of us here who are interested in the world of women in data science, faculty, students, decision makers, or just interested individuals, can we agree on putting more humanity into decisions where data is key? We need more empathy in this field, more humanity, more compassion. Data should be in the service of all people, all ethnicities, all races, all religions, all backgrounds, and not in the service of companies, which are primarily driven by profits. Definitely not in the service of governments, which are blinded to the fact that our differences in color, ethnicity, or religion should not let us forget our common humanity. To all of you who are present here, women and men who already occupy positions of authority related to data and data management, or who aspire to such positions, to my colleagues, to our students, to our guests, to our speakers, let's put what we know and what we learn about data and data science into the service of our common humanity, to the common soul that binds us all together. Thank you.